During his day, the former heavyweight boxing champion of the world, the late Muhammad Ali, was not just known for his style in the ring, fighting technique, his charisma, discipline, his grace, but he was also known for being erudite in regards to how he could articulate himself with various topics. One of those topics, in this case, being religion. In regards to the interview he had a very long time ago, where he stated that all religions are good. And that's an interesting concept. And as I saw this interview, I noticed that there were things that Ali said that I definitely agree with. And there are also things that he said that I don't necessarily agree with, not because it's wrong per se, but it's more so in regards to nuance, right? Context. So I said to myself, you know what? I wanted to go ahead and cover this video, use it as a backdrop to give my commentary, my 2 cents, as usual. So let's get it.
Can only judge us. So I can't say how good I am, and no true Muslim will brag or even take a chance on saying he's good or he's halfway good or not. It's up to Allah, God, to be the judge. See, so I'm not going to say one thing about how good I am because I don't know. We never get good enough. I'm always striving to be right.
Very good point he made right there. Because people, regardless of their race, class, gender, and even their religion, all strive every day to try to be the best version of themselves. It's a daily process and it takes time, it takes effort, and more importantly, it takes commitment. The same way that there are people who commit themselves to just being the way they are. There are also people in that regard too, but at least people who are that way and are honest about it, I can respect that. So I can respect both cases, both scenarios for people who want to improve and also people who are just comfortable and just being where they are. So it's fine either way. But in regards to what Ali just stated, yes, I definitely respect the fact that based on his belief system, he didn't brag about how he was all this and all that. He wouldn't boast about how good he was or all the material things he had in his life. No, because regards to who's good, not good, the Most High is good. The God of all gods, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, of the Israelites. He is good. We as human beings, even his chosen, are flawed, are born of a sinful nature due to the actions of our parents, Adam and Eve. And that's why he had to send his son, Christ, the Messiah, to be the second Adam and to undo the actions that the first earthly Adam did. So we know about that. But all in all, very good first point that Muhammad Ali stated.
And you asked me another question, why did I change? Because I was raised a Baptist. And after touring the world, I found out that there are 600 million Muslims on the planet. And all religions are good. I wrote something once, it says rivers, lakes, and streams. They all have different names, but they all contain water. So does religions have different names, and they all contain God and the truth, only expressed in different ways, forms, and times. What Jesus taught was good. What Moses taught was right. What Buddha taught was right. What Krishna taught was right. What Isaiah, Lot, Noah, God has always sent prophets to different people at different times with messages for those people, and people have decided to choose those prophets as their leader. Some follow Krishna, Some follow Buddha. Some follow Muhammad. Some follow Jesus. Some follow whoever. But Moses, all of them are right. Jesus made a statement, I come not to destroy no law of the prophet, but to fulfill. All of God's prophets are right. You got to believe in all of them. So,
Hey, very good, very good point. Also, man. In fact, well, I'll say there are definitely parts that I do agree with, especially in regards to when it comes to Christ, Moses, prophets, Lot, Abraham, all the thing, everything they did taught was not only good, but it was also right. And to Christ did say that I came not to destroy the law of the prophets, but to fulfill. And Christ was also the same person who stated that I am the truth, the way, and the life, and no man getteth to the Father but through me. That's what he definitely stated as well. And to be honest, um, that statement right there could be deemed very controversial because cause that's in regards to the real Christ. The Christ on the left hand side being Lucifer, right? And of course, he goes by many other different names. And according to these very same religions, makes it to where he's a god of over all different religions through globalism, right? They're trying to get it to a point where it's a one world government, one world religion overall as part of the New World Order that's been going on for a very, very long time. So that's why there has to be that distinction. And that's and what's interesting is by all the different religions, Christ also said too, since we're talking about him, he said like some of his biggest enemies would come through quote unquote Christianity. As he stated, with to like let them that some of the biggest deceivers would come using his name, right? To claim that I am Christ. Or as he perfectly stated, many shall come in my name saying that I am Christ, but shall deceive many. So that's the biggest deception when it comes to religion, even more than Islam, even more than Judaism, Hindu, Buddhist, Pentecostal, Baptist, Catholicism, New Age, whatever the case may be. Because at least with these other religions, they're false. But with Christianity, modern day Christianity, they actually try to use Christ as a way to push what they're really about. So it's nothing new. It's been going on for almost over 2,000 years.
if the person follow Buddha and do what Buddha said, they'll see God and believe it. If a person follow Krishna and live what he preached, he'll be good. If a person follow Moses and live like Moses preached, if they follow Jesus, they follow Lot, any of the prophets. So I decided to take the Islamic path. The Christian path is a perfect religion if the people practice. And you have two coats, give me one. I'm hungry, you feed me. Love your enemy. Pray for those who use you. Forgive. Give charity. Don't hate. Christianity is a perfect religion. It's the people who don't live the religion. The religion is good, but the people do things in the name of the religion. A lot of Muslims do things they shouldn't do. A lot of Protestants, a lot of Buddhists, a lot of Hindus live like they shouldn't live. But the religion itself, the religion is right, but the people who follow religion ain't so right. So I choose to follow the Islamic path because I've never saw so much love. I never saw so many people hugging each other, kissing each other, praying 5 times a day. The women in the long garments, the way they would eat. You can go to any country and say, Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum assalam. You got a home, you got a brother. I chose the Islamic path because it connected me. As a Christian in America, I couldn't go to the white churches. As a Christian, that was for those people. It did them good. It didn't do me good. I saw Jesus Christ. I saw a white man with blonde and blue eyes. I look at the Lord's Supper in Christianity. I see all white people. You are Asiatic girl. I see a man behind you is dark. All the pictures of angels are white. Why come we never go to heaven? Why come the Mexican don't go to heaven and fly around? Why the Puerto Rican? All the angels happen to be white angels. I look at Peter was white. Mary was white. Paul was white. God's son Jesus was white. Everything was white. Tarzan, the king of the jungles, he was white. And the angel.
Hey, Ali was not only was he good for being articulate, but he also was really good for um for also showing that level of humor, man.
Food cake was made white and the devil food cake was chocolate. And if I threaten you, I'm going to blackmail you. Black was always bad in the Western world. The black cat was the bad luck. If you get put out of a fraternity group, you get blackballed. Black was always bad. So the only thing that made me feel good, the only thing that made me feel free, that connected me with Saudi Arabia, the Islamic religion, connected me with Pakistan, Morocco, Syria. I sat down with Colonel Gaddafi, had dinner in his palace, stayed overnight because I'm a Muslim. As a Christian, I never could sit with Christian leaders. As a Muslim, I sat with Sadat, I sat with President Nasser, Marcos of the Philippines, Ayub Khan of Pakistan before he died. I've been sitting with kings of Sheikh Zayed of Abu Dhabi. Kings and people of these nations have welcomed me as a brother, and I'm a citizen. And now in America, I'm respected by all colors and throughout the world as a Muslim. See, the name Muhammad is the most common name in the world. There are more Muhammads on the planet. There are 4 billion people on earth, and every third person is a Muslim. So for me, I'm not condemning no other religion, but for me, being a world figure, taking the name Muhammad Ali, which is the name of my people for the brother of America, accepting the Islamic religion, it was better for me. Where another person, Shintoism, Buddhism, Christianity, Baptist, Catholic, Protestant, Jewish, that might fit another man. But you can choose any religion you want. If you believe it, you'll see God because all of them are good. So I chose the Islamic religion. That's why I chose it.
Hey, he said a mouthful, and definitely, again, definitely great points that he made. That I agree. Others, not so much. When it comes to first, I'll start by saying this. I do agree with the fact that there are people who are a part of a certain religious belief system who don't necessarily follow those belief systems. I mean, that's a fact because they're, like you said, whether it be Christian, Muslim, Catholics or Catholics, Baptists, Pentecostal, Jehovah's Witness, Seventh Day Adventists, Mormons, you name them. Uh, they're only those titles they have. That's just that in name only. All right, and I think that a big reason, from my perspective, is because it's a heart issue. While on top of that, it's a flesh issue. That's why in the Bible it talks about the the flesh striving against the spirit and the spirit striving against the flesh. That's a bit. That's one of the big battles that people, but particularly Christians or followers of Christ, have to contend with every day. Because when you're trying to live right, um, try to live right, do what's right, there's always going to be those they're going to always going to be demonic forces from the left hand side who is going to try to intervene and pull you back in to that rut that you used to be in. But it's after the case, especially when if you become baptized, you become born again, right? So is that war. And now, in that regard, so there's definitely a great point with that. And another great point he made too in regards to him being a Muslim, being a part of Islamic tradition as opposed to the Christian tradition or Christianity because of the fact that, yes, in the Christian tradition, the Lord's Supper, Mary, Jesus, Peter, Paul, all the disciples, the prophets, even the angels were all white. And that was done on purpose for those who not only know about the Bible, but know about the Apocrypha, right? The 14 books that were originally a part of the Bible, the King James Bible, along with the books like Enoch, Jubilees, Jasher. All those books were purposely taken out the Bible because they would expose not only the Roman Catholic Church for what they did, which was prophesied in 2nd Esdras, the 13th chapter, but it would also expose what Satan, through the fallen angels, with their offspring, the Nephilim, have done to the whole earth, and how they've polluted and corrupted mankind with their teachings. Another thing you have to be careful too. We have to be careful always wanting to put the blame on mankind for all the evils in the earth. Because mankind cannot have done all this without a spiritual intervention from the left side, which was demonic intervention, honestly, with all wars, striving, anger, jealousy, bitterness, malcontent, and all different types of wrongdoings, all different types of sin. It didn't really come from man, it came from them that have polluted mankind with those things and pretty much lied to us, indoctrinated us, and brainwashed us with all those things, man. To make it where that's why the earth is in the condition it's in. And we're always, and also on top of that, we're so quick to blame the Most High when it was stated in the book of Job that the earth was given into the hands of the wicked. All right. Again, going back to what happened in the garden, Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve, but specifically Adam gave away his dominion through his actions to the point where Satan came in, crept in, and now has authority over this earth. And especially with today, that's why the earth is in the shape it's in. So that's why that's why it's important, man. That's why it's important you have to put the Most High first. So whether you trying to build on that relationship with the Most High, or if you were just trying to have that relationship like for the first time, you're really trying to begin it and then nurture it. That's what it comes down to. And another thing too, in regards to Islam and Christianity, in regards to our people, I would say that Islam is a, a step in a grade above, better than Christianity because of the fact that the lifestyle, how we dressed, particularly regards to women, how they had long garments, how they ate, how they greeted one another, treated one another, how they prayed. The whole prayer life was really strong. Things like that. And on top of that, our people who were a part of the Nation of Islam at that time, within the quote black community, had businesses. Right? You ain't gonna. That's why even not Muhammad Ali, but Malcolm X stated that you would not see him or anyone in the Nation of Islam getting sprayed with a water hose or having dogs let loose on them. Unlike Martin Luther King and his cohorts in regards with the whole, the civil rights movement, the SCLC, the SNCC, groups like that, because unfortunately for Dr. King and him and those people, they were trying to force their way on Caucasians, and they were trying to look for their validation, their acceptance, the love at the time. Whereas Malcolm X and his brothers, they were not. In fact, their attitude was, um, we should separate as a people and figure out who we are and just figure who we are and try to, in regards to figuring out what their identity was, and what their true culture was, right? So we should, we do us, you do you. Speaking in regards to the white man, all right. So definitely many great points that Ali made up to this point. And the last point before I continue on is when he stated that the term black is considered like bad, evil in regards to terms like black male and black bald and things like that. And that was the exact same thing that Martin Luther King said years ago when he gave his speech on what black is beautiful. And again, as I stated in that video that I made, that's the side of Dr. King that they don't address often. They want to keep you in just the mindset and the aura of him being all about global unity. I have a dream, right? That guy. And they don't address that speech of the black is beautiful. They don't even address that speech in regards to he made about the burning house. And they definitely don't talk about the speech that he made towards the end of his life, let alone him talking about black economic advancement. Because toward those last 2 years of his life, he started to become more like a Malcolm X and Marcus Garvey. So, so by the time Dr. King was waking up to what was really going on, that's when he blew his brains out and had him done away with. Unfortunately.
Muhammad, Muhammad, now after I'm through boxing, I would like to be a minister. Don't you think I preach pretty good?
Very good.
Don't I make it plain?
Yes.
Don't you understand now? You asked me some pretty tough questions, but didn't I make a lot of sense? I didn't make the Christians hate me. I didn't make the Protestants hate me. I didn't make the Catholics hate me. I told you the truth. I said all of them are good if they live it. It's just the people who don't live it. So I chose the Islamic path. Religion is a touchy thing. Religion. Very few people can see. Some people, you say I'm a Muslim, don't want to hear you. Some people, you say I'm a Protestant, pow, pow. You say I'm a Catholic, pow, pow. All of them are right. All of them are from God. All of them are good and teach good. It's just the people and the titles that make you prejudice. But all of them got the same. It says one God, but there are many roads to that God. You understand? This is the power of this. You see me do this, you call me the greatest. That's because I'm more religious than I am physical, and I study a lot. And you may be surprised if you hear me talk because you never heard me talk this way. But I got about 45 lectures that I memorized in my ministry, and I can tell you something about all the religious books, all the religions, because I'm a strong believer in God and humanity. That's why I'm helping these boys. That's why God blesses me to be so great here. Because all the time I've been here, I've been talking about pushing religion. I'm not talking about me, how great I am, how much money I got. I'm always giving the praise to God. So that's why I'm as great as I am in this physical world, because I push Him first.
Well,
Hey, that by far was the most powerful point and statement that he made. Not just in regards to this interview, but possibly throughout his whole life. Because again, as I stated in the beginning of this video, as great as he was in the ring, in regards to his fighting style, his discipline, his grace, technique, what made him just as fascinating was was a way to articulate himself like he just did just right here. Because it's very important, in fact, it's of the utmost importance to put the Most High first in whatever area in life that you want to excel in. If there's like a certain field you want to go into, be it doctor, lawyer, agriculturalist, architect, plumber, builder, right? You want to become any of those things. Mathematician, scientist, neurosurgeon, you name it. You can excel in any of those areas. It doesn't just have to be sports, athletics, musician, or you being a singer, dancer, songwriter, or in things like that. Those are good. Especially, I'm talking about my people right now. Those are good, but we're much more than that overall, and that's what we've been fortunately indoctrinated or brainwashed into believing that only thing we're good for as a race is just simply, you know, being minstrels, quote unquote, shucking and jiving, all for entertainment. No, it's not just us. We can be much more. And there are those of our people who are those things that I just listed, but they don't get talked about a whole lot. Wonder why? Makes you go, right? But again, on top of that, man, in regards to religion, they just did it. Yes, religion is very tricky to talk about, especially when you say things like religion are good. I agree with the concept that religion is good if the people are practicing those things because, hey, if that's the belief system, that's what they adhere to, then, hey, good for them because at least they're being honest, at least they're being real. All right. Now, the problem I have is when, you know, again, religion is when you try to, again, when you try to force your religion on others, as at least from his perspective, when you try to force it on people, well, well, not from someone from his perspective, but from the perspective where he says if you try to tell somebody what you are, what you believe, those scenarios can happen. People who don't want to hear what you have to say, God forbid, if something happens, there could be a confrontation to where your life is taken from you. All right. And it's definitely the case nowadays in 2023. Whew, man, it's at a point now where if you if you have a belief system that's totally different from what the elites do their talking heads on both sides try to promote, you're enemy of the state. You can have your if you don't have your life taken from you to the point where you die, then your life could be taken from you other ways where you could be deplatformed to the point you don't have a way to take care of yourself, to feed yourself, your family, whatnot. You could be dehumanized. You could be bad mouthed. Have your name dragged to the mud by the woke Twitter mob. Pretty much flat out, all right, you just be canceled, flat out. And that's why if people like Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X were still alive to this day, with the same minds that they had when they were in their prime in their youth, man, they would have a field day with a lot of what's going on today, and they would be attacked for it. Shit, but knowing them, hey, they welcome it.
Ahmed, we're running out of time now.
And before we continue, another thing about religion too is the fact that yeah, they're all good from the worldly perspective in regards again to the true God of this earth, of this world being Satan. And of course, the thing about him is in these other religions, he has different names in these religions. We know what some of them are, whether it's through Egyptology, whether it's through New Age, whether it's through Scientology, whether it's through Freemasonry, like names like Jehovah, uh, or even it's going to surprise people, Yahweh. Yes, even Yahweh, because Yahweh is just one of the names for one of the storm gods that the ancient Israelites kept struggling with in regards to they kept going off, they kept servicing this god as opposed to the God that freed them from Egypt, right? That's an issue. And that's the same issue that's going on today. So, and that's the big problem overall with this whole topic. Because when you expose the truth about the origins, right? It's not so much how people live the religions, how they do it, or the customs that they have, which is not wrong in itself. Yes, you're supposed to treat people right. You're supposed to love people. You're supposed to treat them the way you want to be treated, universal language overall. But the problem comes when you expose the true origin of where these belief systems come from, which is through Satan, through Babylon. That's when the attacks come. That's when the offense comes. And that's why, again, that's when, for the most part, you are going to pretty much offend and alienate the vast majority of people in this world who follow in those different religions. With, of course, Islam, as Ali stated, having like over 600,000 or 600,000 million different Muslims, which is Muslim. That's why Islam is one of the if not the fastest growing, most popular religions, even to this day, if I'm not mistaken. Right? So, just things you have to take into account.
Could I, could I finish by saying I wouldn't presume to be your judge,
that's the
but
question.
I know you pretty well, and
That's boss.
I
That's
judge
boss.
you as a pretty good fellow, and I think we all
Thank
would
you,
agree
thank
with that.
you,
Thank you.
Richard.
And we have a little presentation for you to take home to your wife
That's
and daughter,
boss
if
right
you
there.
would.
That's
Yeah,
the man,
I'm
man.
coming in a minute. We're actually finishing the show now. Could you ask the question when I'm...
You know who he is?
Yeah, he's the boss. He's the boss. Could we bring on the presentation, please? Would you like your sister-in-law to take these for you? The shaggy dog is for Hannah, your daughter,
My daughter.
and the bouquet. Heavyweight champion of the world, Muhammad Ali.
And that's that for that interview right there. And I thought that was a very good way to end it. Very classy, kind, courteous, and respectful. Above all, because if you try to have this same conversation today in 2023, I will tell you the end result is going to be completely different, or the interview will probably cut real short, if not non-existent. Because that's the thing, we're in an age right now um, where pretty much nobody wants to hear you on anything. Nobody really wants to hear what someone has to say about any, whether it's topic, whether it's a belief system or any ideology or thought process that you have that's different than theirs. And it just shows you just how far this cancel culture has how far it's gone, man. To the point where it's gonna have to be a big reset on this. And before I close, I want to say this. There's gonna come a time in your life where, depending on who you are, what gift, talent, or skill that you have, that you were born and blessed with, and that you feel like you want to be utilized, you want to make a difference in their world, it's going to come. But the problem comes is when we sometimes get impatient, and you're therefore you want to try to force what you have onto others, which is which at times does happen, and therefore what happens. The net result doesn't really quite work out in your favor because you weren't patient enough. That's why patience is a virtue. You really have to, you know, wait on wait. Be still, right? Because we have to remember the Most High works on His time, not on ours. And remember, as He stated, many are called, but few are chosen. So when you're in a position where the Most High can choose or can utilize you, when you go chosen by Him, and He can utilize you for His purpose, then that's where things will get better for you in your life. And that right there is the ultimate meaning of finding your calling in life, and more so your purpose in life. But anyway, that's it for that video. Thought it was very good, very nice interview. And on top of that, very respectful. As opposed, especially for it being during Ali's time period. Because given what he was talking about, when you compare what he said during his time to what our time is right now, the big difference is, again, is that it's respectfulness. Even when there are times you have disagreements and when there are times you get passionate, it's still respectful. So that's why I'm glad that I came across this gem of a video. All right. Because Ali was definitely it was definitely for God, even if it was for quote Allah. Even though even but the great thing about this was that even though he himself was a Muslim, he still had respect for the Bible. He had respect for Christ, for Moses, for Lot, for Abraham, for all the prophets that were utilized during their day. And that's one of the things that I definitely respect about Muhammad Ali, and how he was utilized, and how he will always be missed. So, anyways, and that's why he was all about pushing God first. Because that's what it's all about. Whether it's for him, for greats like him, or for average, ordinary people. Always put him first, always put the Most High first, and you will see how quickly your life will change. So that's a wrap. Peace out.